Node 564560.
PM.
Good evening. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net, broadcasting in digital amateur television in the DVB-T format. The Western Washington Amateur Television Society is a group of amateur radio enthusiasts that utilize amateur television as a medium. We transmit on 70 centimeters to Cougar Mountain, a crossband repeater, and spits out images at 1.2 gigahertz. Find out more about our group. Please Google WW7ATS. That's Google WW7ATS. That will take you to the internet and you'll see our homepage with the exact frequencies we transmit and receive on. Also, you'll find a link to YouTube, where we stream our nets held Wednesdays and Saturdays between 8 and 9 o'clock. Also, we simulcast our audio W7STR's 2-meter repeater 147.08 with a tone of 103.5. So with that, I'll pause in case anybody has emergency traffic or needs to make a contact before our net gets full. Dave, KD7ZYM. Again, welcome back. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net. So far checked in by video link is Ron, KD7QKU.
Node 3, 9,
Richard,
5,
K7ITX.
7, 4.
Wade, W7IT.
Connected to Node 5, 6, 4, 5, 6, 0.
Northeast Bellevue. Carlos, 87NP in Clyde Hill. And myself, Dave, KD7ZYM in Lake City. Is there anybody else that wishes to check in? Hearing none, we'll start off the net with Ron, KD7QKU.
Okay. I flipped the switch. We'll see if my picture comes up here. So far, no picture that I see. I see it on streaming, but I don't see it. I don't see it coming in on my through my TV. So anyway, KD7QKU here in North Tacoma, and nice to see everybody. I'm using a different camera tonight. It doesn't have a microphone in it, so I have to use the 2-meter. I was thinking I would use this camera, even though it's not very good, and sort of free. There my picture comes in. Free up my little camcorder so I could use it for other things. So let's see. Saturday night I wasn't here. We went to the LeMay's, museum, I guess you call it. It's not the one down by the Tacoma Dome. The LeMay's, you probably know who they are. They have all the cars. Years ago, they bought this Catholic Academy, I guess it was, out kind of southeast of Tacoma, and they turned that into a museum. I don't know how many hundred cars they have. If you haven't been there, you really should go. It's just amazing. Anything to do with cars, signs, gas pumps, any kind of memorabilia, they just have it all over, and it's all in nice shape. And then they have toys, they have wagons, they have kids, pedal cars, they have wreckers, they have logging trucks, they have fire trucks, they have motorcycles. I mean, it's just phenomenal what they do have out there. So they also had an auditorium and a stage, and so they had a band. It was called Wally and the Beavers. We'd heard them before, and they play, for that group, they played 50s and 60s music. They called it a sock hop, and they provided dinner. It was a buffet dinner, and so we went and listened to Wally and the Beavers and watched the people dance. I'm not much of a dancer. I didn't dance really when I was a kid. There wasn't hardly any place where I lived to dance. And Joanne didn't dance very much, so we're not big dancers, so we mostly watched. But a lot of people dressed like they did in high school in the 50s, 60s, wore Letterman jackets, and the girl wore puffy skirts that stuck out, and they had their black and tan and black and white shoes on, and some of the ladies had poodle dogs on their skirts and everything. And they were going to have a dance concert, but it was contest, but we didn't stay for we left about 9:30. So they hadn't had the dance contest yet. So some of the people could really dance, I'm telling you. So it was kind of fun. So we had a good time. So anyway, that's what I did Saturday night. So back to net 87 QKU. KD7 QKU.
Let's see if Bob is with us. K9PQ. Again, this is Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net on the 08 machine. Let's see if we can pick up Richard, K7ITX.
Yeah, you sure can. This is Richard, K7ITX. You sound really good, Ron, on 2 meter. I appreciate that. I'm here at the Northwest Kidney Center up on East Hill, Kent. And so sometimes it's hard for me to hear everyone, but when they're on 2 meters, it's no problem whatsoever. Wow, the weather was beautiful. See, Monday it was sunny in the morning. I enjoyed that a lot. And then
Node 5 6 4 5 6 2 connected to Node 6 4 2 7 0.
I really enjoyed the weather lately. When I heard about the Northern Lights, I got kind of excited, and Wade was kind of keeping us up to date on what do you call it? On texting. Yeah, I was texting blow by blow about the Northern Lights. And I ran out to look out the door or turn off the lights. And, all I could see was clouds. So it clouded over in the evening. And maybe if I would have taken a picture with my camera, the Northern Lights would have shown through some of the breaks in the clouds. But it was so late at night, I was just too tired to do that. So, Ron, you didn't mention anything about the Northern Lights, so I'll be kind of curious if you tried to look for them at all. Maybe, I'd like to hear some other reports as well. This is K7ITX, back in the control.
K7ITX, thanks with that, and get a quick
Again.
here again. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net on the 08 machine.
I'm Dave,
KD7CYM. Let's go to Wade, W7IT
Tacoma.
W7ITL, Wade in Tacoma. You're up.
And no response on Wade, so let's go to Jim, N7QO in Covington.
N7QO. Thank you, Dave. Good evening, everyone. Well, I thought I saw Wade when I first turned on my rig, but must be busy, or maybe his wife called him to dinner or something.
Disconnected.
Anyway, Ron, yeah, good picture. That new camera seems to be okay. Good audio, both on 2 meters and on the television repeater. And dance Saturday night, huh? Okay, well, that sounds interesting. Like a theme from our past, distant past. Yep. I'd rather forget high school personally. Dick, good to hear you in there at the Northwest Kidney Center. Once again, mentioned the Northern Lights. I did not go out and look for them, but I'm sure I have about the same picture that you've got. We're close enough together, so I guess all I would have seen is clouds as well. And I guess as each day goes by, the chances of us seeing them are reduced just because the intensity is supposed to diminish. Let's see. Well, yeah, Monday was really nice. I ran some errands, did a few things around here. Yesterday I was kind of wiped out from stuff that I did on Monday.
5, 6,
and then today
4,
I was just doing
5,
some
6,
stuff around the house as well. I did something. Where did I go today?
4, 2,
I don't remember now. I ran some errand. But glad I didn't get rained on. We still have a whole bunch of fir needles and leaves around our property. They're all over on the streets. And this one hill is surrounded by hardwood trees. So a bunch of leaves, it's like you're going through a tunnel. And there are leaves down on the roadway. Makes it awfully slippery if you're going up or down that hill. They need to find some way to clean that off. But it's technically it's not county land, so the homeowners would have to do something about that. And it's kind of remote, not like we can get something out there unless, well, we can probably go rent a pressure washer somewhere, a gasoline-powered one. But then again, it's on a hill, so, oh well. A million things to do in this world. Not enough time, not enough money. But glad the weather's holding out today. I guess it's supposed to hit us again sometime tomorrow. So we'll keep our fingers crossed it doesn't get bad and no one loses electricity again. Back to you, Dave, and 7QO.
N7QO, thanks for that.
Let's go to James.
James, WU7N.
East Bellevue.
Okay, Dave, this is James, WU7N in Northeast Bellevue, syncing up the Streamlabs here, seeing if this is going to work, and it should. It did work quite well before, so let's see if we can get this to work. WU7N. Testing. Testing 1 2 3 4. All right. Okay, so yeah, Northern Lights were the big event. Thank you very much for sending the pictures. That was interesting to get. And Ron, I also got your picture of I think you were out dancing at the LeMay Car Museum. Got that picture too. So that was all very interesting. I had to drop off the net here for a minute, so I didn't hear what Jim said. A friend of mine was calling. He's got a sick friend down in California, and we thought we were going to jump into a car and start driving that direction. And it looks like now he's not going to do it in quite that time frame. It's going to take a little more time, which is probably a good thing to do, not to rush if you don't have to. So anyway, that's I heard Ron about the LeMay Car Museum, and let's see, I also heard a little bit about what Richard said, but been a little bit distracted for this round. Let's see, I went out and looked for the Northern Lights last night myself, but it was all cloudy here. It was amazing to me how much better I could look at the clouds through my phone than with my naked eye. That is kind of weird how that works. So got a lot of pictures of clouds, but then again, I mean, for me to ever see this, I think I'd have to get out of the area that I am in, because the sky glow is all to the northwest, and so Northern Lights, I'm assuming the best picture would be to the north, and there's all kinds of street lights and everything else right between my street and where that would be. So I think for me to see it, if this happens again, if I can get a little more warning, I would like to see it, and so I think I'll probably drive east up into the mountains somewhere and see if I can see a little better to the north from the top of a big hill or something like that. As I think about it, I'll have to, not our site where we actually have our T site, but on the other side of the hill was the radar site for the old Nike site up on Cougar Mountain. That might have a good north view. I might go up there tomorrow and check, because there might be another event here that I can catch before the sunspot cycle runs out. I haven't looked recently to see where we're at with the 11-year sunspot cycle. I think we peaked last year, didn't we? I'm not sure. If anybody knows, feel free to comment. So anyway, that's probably all the hot news that is news here. Had a great day of physical therapy, did a lot of exercise, came up with a new one where you stick your arm straight out and swing around a little ball. Actually got that one from my neighbor to repair the shoulder, which is the last thing from the car accident, and hopefully the concussion will heal up too. So can't ask for a better disaster. The car's fixed, and I'm rapidly heading towards getting fixed too. So this is James, WU7N in Northeast Bellevue. I'm going to turn it back to Dave, our net control in Seattle.
WU7N, thanks for that. Let's go to Carlos, 87NP in Clyde Hill. What say you, Carlos?
Let's see if this works. Sorry that the image is not flowing. I don't know why. I will check in a minute. I didn't have time to prepare. This is 87NP. I'm coming to you with some technology from the 80s. This is kind of one of the first radios that I got in the 80s. This one is a FT790 to the UHF. As you can see, it's very portable. You just have to carry it with a strap, and you might hurt your shoulder. It has batteries inside, fully contained, beautiful microphone. And if you want duplex and you want to use VHF and UHF, you just add another module, which is another radio, which is identical, which is the 290R. And so, which kind of also comes with a built-in antenna, and if you all remember, these antennas were the nice stick-up antenna for VHF. And so on the next round, I'll figure out why my TV signal wasn't going up. But that's the work that I finished changing the capacitors on this. So this is all audio modules from the 80s with capacitors for the from the year 2025. Back to Dave. Net control from 87 NP.
P, thanks for that. It's interesting to see how far
progress is brought it with handheld HT radios at this point compared to the 80s. What an improvement has happened.
Well, for me, this is Dave in Lake City, and let's see, I've got
53 degrees and cloudy outside, and I'm
showing 0.05 inches of rain, so it's
really not really moist out.
Just a little
dribble here and then. Well,
today looked at a bunch of aurora pictures that were coming in that people have sent.
Did domestic chores around the house
and forever raking leaves.
I think I'll be doing that for the next month, the way it keeps coming down out of trees. But the other thing was I got off to Costco and got their chili, so
I'm sitting back
enjoying Costco chili. I noticed they put a little more beans into the Costco chili.
Costco chili this year. As last year it was like 90% ham. 1%. Well, beans I guess it was, and a lot of sauce that made the chili.
But still tasted
good, and it worked fine.
So that's about it. Been sort of
laid back and enjoying the weather today.
A little rain this morning, and then this afternoon some beautiful sunshine came out. Did a little more yard work there. That's about what's happening here in Lake City. I'm going to send it up to Ron, KD7
QKU in Tacoma.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Dave. I was kind of getting some feedback there. I don't know exactly where that came from. I don't see my picture yet, but I guess it'll be here pretty soon. Let's see, Jim or maybe it's Richard asked about the aurora. So I went out about 10:30 last night, and I turned off the floodlight in the backyard and stood there for a while and could not see anything other than there was some high thin clouds, and I couldn't see any color on them or anything. Not if I would have seen just a little bit, I would have got my cell phone camera out and taken a picture. But I didn't see anything to take a picture of. What else have I been doing? Well, I always mess around with the Corvette, I guess, a little bit. I taken one of the backup lights didn't work, so I taken that apart and put in some LED bulbs. So now the backup lights are nice and bright. Got that all back together. It had in it or has in it what is called a heads-up display. So, like a fighter airplane, you see everything on the windshield in the airplane. Well, the Corvettes are the same way. So there's lots of things that you can display. The old car was an amazing old car, really, in 2002, that it had all that stuff. But anyway, I looked at a YouTube video to see maybe why it doesn't work. Well, they're expensive to replace the unit, and you have to take the dash all apart. So there's a possibility that maybe there's a fuse out, but I rather doubt it. It sounds like they're kind of fragile, so maybe, just over the years of bumping and everything, that it does not work. So I never have had one, and I don't know how distracting it would be. But a friend of mine, Rick, he's got 3 or 4 Corvettes, and one of his didn't work, and he fixed it. So I don't know. He must have taken the dash all apart. To get the dash apart, you have to take the console out. And almost disconnect the gear shift lever and the floor, and it's really a big job if you ask me. So I'm going to have to ask Rick how he fixed his. But anyway, I looked at the YouTube video and shook my head and said, one of these days I'll check the fuse. It's number 19 and number 20, I guess. I'll look at 19 and 20 and see if they're good. If not, I guess I won't worry about it. So, what else? We went grocery shopping. I'm sure you're interested in that today. That's always a big deal. Seems like we spend a lot of money on groceries, and we're there a long time. So, let's see, we had salmon for dinner because we bought some salmon today. So that was pretty good. I'm not a big fish eater, even though I fished a lot and over the last 50 years, and I've had, hundreds of pounds of salmon, and I've eaten lots of it. Fish is still not my favorite thing. So anyway. So, with that, we got that email from Bob Helling at K9PQ. I was hoping he would be here tonight. So it sounds like he's got a lease on his condominium, and then he will get all that taken care of, and hopefully that place will be available on Whidbey Island, that little house, and he will be able to buy that. So that's going to be nice for him if that works out.
KD7QKU, you seem to have lost your image coming out the repeater. Incidentally, Ron, apparently there is some audio feeding back through that new camera you're using. I was able to monitor.
Audio, it was transmitting.
It was transmitting audio through that loop, so you were getting an echo coming off 2 meters plus the digital. So anyway, that's for your information. Let's go to Richard, K7ITX.
Yeah, this is Richard, K7ITX. Yeah, no echo on you, Dave, even though during your transmission before, Ron, you had quite a bit of echo. And Ron, you had echo like Dave described, but we're able to copy everything you had to say. The echo wasn't too overwhelming. It sounds like a lot of fun at that car museum. I've never been out to that one that you're referring to. I've been to the one by the Tacoma Dome. Debbie's company, the Simpson Timber Company, had their Christmas party there one time, and that was a lot of fun. And heads-up display, oh yeah, I got to experience that in one of the car rentals. It seems like I get to enjoy a lot of the new technological toys whenever I go out of town and rent a new car. And the heads-up display I found to be actually not distracting, but actually really useful, particularly since it included what I guess would be a radar detector, because while I was driving, on the heads-up display started to show a policeman with a radar gun, and I thought, oh, that must mean I better slow down, and I did, and as I came to the crest of the hill, there he was, just waiting for me because I would not be able to see him. But thanks for the heads-up display, and I avoided a very expensive speeding ticket in Northern California. I guess California, if you get caught speeding, you're lucky to get by for less than $500. So I was pretty happy about the heads-up display in that case. So so now I got two toys on my list for my next car: heads-up display and hands-free steering. So with that, I'll send it back to Dave. K7ITX, back to net control.
K7ITX, thanks for that. Get a quick ID here again. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net on the 08 machine. So let's see if we can contact Wade, W7ITL in Tacoma.
Hey guys, I'm not quite set up, but I just want to say hi. I'm working on something right now, so I can't set up my audio. But Ron, your audio was doubling. I think it's because you were keying down on your regular radio. So next round, just use your camera, and you should get that feedback loop, hopefully. But nice to see you, Carlos, or not see you but hear you. And Bob, I didn't get a chance to say that's awesome about your renter being able to get that signed lease agreement. So that is really good. And just all the things going on the last 2 days with the Aurora, it's just, I'm hoping to get out there later tonight and try to do some photography to see if I can capture it with my camera. I haven't been able to see it with the bare eye, but that's pretty normal for the Aurora. So with that said, I'll turn it back to Dave, our net control, and maybe the next round I'll have everything set up. But all right, that's all I got.
W7ITL, thanks with that. Let's move on to Covington to Jim, N7QO.
N7QO, thank you, Dave. Well, last couple people who transmitted here, there seems to be an echo. Not sure why that is. I hope there's not an echo on me. I'm only transmitting on 2 meters. But anyway, good to see everyone. Carlos, I heard you just fine on both 2 meters and the ATV repeater. FT790, my goodness, that's great. Yeah, with a hobby like this, you can never run out of things to do. And restoring some older equipment can be a lot of fun, too. Although it can also be frustrating. Dave, Costco chili, my goodness. Ron, yeah, you're doing really well, other than a doubling, but right about when you mentioned Wade, your audio quit. But that was pretty close to the end of everything you were saying. Dick, heads-up display, radar detection, that's ECM, electronic countermeasures equipment. That's it's interesting that they build those things into cars, especially an older one, but I'm sure stranger things have happened. It's probably been upgraded a bit over the years, so that's kind of cool. And Wade, good pictures from you. I was going to say the television repeater has been very well behaved tonight, but it just quit a couple of times during my transmission, so don't know. But anyway, back to you, Dave, and 7QO.
In 7QO, thanks with that. Let's move on to James, WU7N in Northeast Bellevue.
Testing. Okay. Under 15 seconds that time. That's pretty good. Well, am I echoing a whole lot right now with a whole bunch of feedback echo? Am I? No, I see shaking heads. Okay, everybody's been echoing, including you, Wade. So Wade, Ron, Dave, all strong echo feedback problem tonight. I guess I'm not. Jim didn't have it. So I'm not sure where the origin of that is. Let's see. First off, I'd like to say, Carlos, you are inspiring me. I have an old power supply, a Triton, that when you plug it in, I think it consumes a couple of amps just sitting there doing nothing, which tells me that it's got serious problems, probably age-related. And since the capacitors are from the 1970s, I'm betting it has the same problem. If I just replace all the capacitors, it would probably work like a champ. I bought a brand new switching power supply, laboratory power supply, not a really great one. I think it was $100 or something, but I was a little disappointed. It seems to regulate just fine when you're doing, like 500 milliamps. It does just fine. But when I went up to a couple amps with a LED, very stable LED light, all of a sudden it drops from like 5 volts to 3 volts. It just loses all of its regulation. And that was powering a LED 3-cell flashlight. So anyway, I long for something that's big, heavy, and maybe not quite as efficient, but has more stability with a little more power for that. I also have a handheld that the buttons actually have kind of worn out. And I do recall Texas Instruments buying a metals company just simply to address that problem in their calculator. So apparently that was a problem back in the 80s and 90s, is just trying to get a button that worked repetitively that was cheap to build because TI bought a whole company to solve the problem. Let's see, what else? I think that's funny. A heads-up display with a radar detector built into it. I wonder how the state of Virginia handles that, or if it's radar detectors are still illegal in the state of Virginia, because they were. And so the big deal when I lived back on the East Coast was all the different ways people would disguise radar detectors in their car. And then for a while they had radar detectors, I'm sure sold by the same companies that made the radar detectors, to try and get the gun diodes detection. And so they I know one person who got pulled over and he had a very slick, totally concealed radar detector. And so they kept asking if he had it, and he kept, dodging the question and everything. And they finally just let him go because they figured, well, if he's gotten into that much trouble, we're just not going to mess with him anymore. And then the other thing was funny is the truck drivers would buy all these antiquated fuzz busters, which really were not very good radar detectors. And when the guy would demand that, that you have to surrender your radar detector, you give him this piece of junk. So the Virginia State Patrol, or whatever they call themselves, had this giant collection of antiquated radar detectors frequently that were burned out or didn't work. So that was always kind of funny too. Let's see, what else? Well, you say, so I'm surprised, Richard, you say you want a self-driving car and a heads-up display, but you didn't say you wanted the radar detector built into the self-driving display. I would think that, I don't know what they're doing right now for radar detectors, but I would think you would have to have some type of networked integration in them, because I've got 2 radar detectors. I don't really run with them all the time because I never go over the speed limit in my normal driving. But the most recent one I have has all the bands on it, including laser. But every time you go past one of these speed signs that lights up and tells you how fast you're going, it goes off. So you either have to turn that off, which you can do, because there apparently is no differentiation between a speed sign telling you, which I guess in many places that's the same technology that gives you automated tickets. So I guess maybe it does serve some function. Around here they don't. We do have photo traps a few places in Bellevue, but honestly I don't know if they're even running those anymore, because they ran into some database problems, which I have to laugh at, classic database problems. And a friend of mine went down to the courthouse and said the courthouse was filled, as in like people, they couldn't get all the people inside that were challenging their goofy automated tickets. So they certainly turned them off for a while after that, because they had many angry people wanting to know why they got these tickets when the ticket they were sent to their house was a car that had nothing to do with them, the little picture. So that was kind of funny. Also, I guess the outsourced service provider that charges you for going in the rich person lane down the freeway was billing people who were not driving and out of the country. So that was another thing that Bellevue ran into. So anyway, FT790, those were interesting. They're very interesting radios. I think you said those were from the 1980s, maybe from the 1970s. I do recall some of that. I remember I was at Keesler Air Force Base in Mississippi in the late 1970s, very late 70s, yeah. And though that looks familiar, that has a look of a lot of the stuff I saw. But there was also, I recall, a lot of the rigs people had were brand names, and I'm sure have long since come and gone for that kind of thing, because that was still in the middle of the CB craze, and so there was still a lot of American manufacturing for that kind of stuff, both for citizens band and amateur radio equipment. Some people had some pretty good stuff. I was definitely on a student sub budget. I was using the club equipment only. Okay, so let's see, 8:43. This is James, WU7N in Northeast Bellevue. I'm going to terminate my OBS trans.
WU7N, thanks with that. Let's go to Carlos, 87NP in Clyde Hill.
Oh, let's not have feedback. Let's turn down the lights. And audio is flowing, but it's low. I'm never able to understand if these buttons are supposed to be on or off. I think you can hear me now. Let me see if this is better. It's very low audio. Oh, maybe this is better. So 87NP here. It's just for the record here now that my video is on. This is the FT290. This is I got it on the kind of around 83 probably, but I think it might be from the 70s. And so that's the VHF rig. And again, as I said, if you want duplex, you just need two, and that's the 790. And I really like the style of this era radios, and I do have the rechargeable batteries set for one of them, so it's quite nice. So I took some notes here. Dick, on the heads-up display, we have, I think it's the RAV4 that my younger daughter has in Baltimore as a heads-up display. It's quite nice. I think my son got a car, but he preferred to not have the heads-up display. So I guess it's a matter of preference. I like the, especially for the maps, having now the Apple Maps on the dashboard at the same time, not on the middle dashboard, but on the one that you're looking where you're driving. So it's a good thing. Ron, yeah, the same comment. You had audio on both. Listening to the TV repeater, and the audio is just fine. I don't think I've heard echo here on the TV. Just waiting for the rearm of the repeater. Ron, when you were talking just on 2 meters, if you're just on the microphone, the 2 meter repeater will go down, because when we are here on the TV, there will be the timer that will rearm the repeater. But if you are just on 2 meters, you will have to look into that. Wait, setting up audio. Yeah, I'm still not exactly happy with my audio system. Still have to. It's not yet the audio quality that I would like, so I will still have to do some work on that. Dave's audio was good to me. I mean, the issue with Dave's audio is sometimes the signal that he gets into the repeater will go down, and that's when we hear a transition from the audio that is going through the TV transmission versus the audio that is picking up from the 2 meters, and so there will be a slight difference. James, power supply, it's those are the easy ones, because those are big capacitors. You know, you can. As I start doing it, and I do enjoy the systematic approach of replacing capacitors. That basically has vacuum. It's basically a soldering iron with a vacuum thing that just pushes all the soldering. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but that's quite. If you're going to go do a lot, I definitely recommend. So it's something like this. And it has a very satisfying sound of sucking all the solder when it's working. So I recommend that if you're going to go and do a lot. And it's I find it very satisfying to go from a device that just needs, well, in this case, about 20 capacitors each replaced, and got to work. I connected it to the spectrum analyzer and looked at all the SINAD and the FM deviation, and it's quite amazing that kind of more than, I guess, 40-year radio, and was still quite aligned for all the FM signals. So that's it's very impressive, for sure. And on cars and cameras, I have on my driveway, I have a camera that's connected, of course, just to my internal systems and servers, but it's a camera that recognizes license plates. So when all the people kind of come and do deliveries through my driveway, not only captures the activity, but it takes note also of the license plate, which is technology I quite enjoy. It's very good, and glad that Jim said that everything is working there on the TV repeater. And also just a note, as Bob might be listening to this at some point, again, I'm already thinking about the tower, the antenna that we're going to set on your property, so just figuring out when you want us to come over and set up the tower. That's it for now, and probably for the night, given it's 8:50. This is 87 NP in Clydesdale, back to net control.
87 NP, thanks for that. This is Dave, KD7ZYM, and for ID, this is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net on the '08 machine. Well, we were talking about radar detectors a little bit earlier. Brought back some chuckles to my mind. I had recently got a job over here in Seattle and from a television station in Spokane, and I was commuting back from Seattle to Spokane, and it was the late 1980s, and I got on I-90 about Moses Lake. There was a big sign on the highway that said, "Your speed has been detected by radar. Please pull up to the nearest patrol car for a citation." And so I was kind of like looked around and said, "What?" As I was going down the road, there were about 4 cars pulled over at this state trooper. And I said, this can't be. So I just went right by. So that was a fool you once, fool you twice. I got by. Anyway, that was kind of an interesting situation, but no radar detector that I was aware of. And they weren't really in big demand at that point. So that's my story about speeding and detection. So let's go up to Ron, KD7QKU.
Okay, this is Ron, KD7QKU again. Well, I don't have anything on here that would be picking up my voice. My other camera's turned off, and this camera doesn't have a microphone in it, and just my laptop, and I'm just using the 2-meter radio. So I don't know if you guys are hearing something in the background, where it's coming from. I don't know. Radar detectors, yeah. I used to always run radar detectors, but I haven't had one for a long time. You made me think of them again. I probably need one now. So that I'm like Dave said, I moved here from Eastern Washington, and I made many trips back on weekends and stuff to go see friends, and I was always in a big hurry. And radar detectors saved me many, many tickets, that's for sure, I think. In fact, I don't ever remember getting a ticket when I had a radar detector. So, speaking about stuff like that, my son replaced the radio in his pickup. So he's got an older 350 Ford. It's probably, I want to say 1998 four-wheel drive. And he taken the in-dash radio out, and he put in a radio, that had a screen on it. So now he has everything in his pickup like you would, in a modern car. A nice big screen. I haven't seen it, only a picture he sent to me. So I don't know. Maybe it covers up some of the things on these dash, but I would say the screen's about a 7x7 or so, and it has GPS in it, and it has radio in it. It has everything in it. It's like a computer screen.
Disconnected.
It has icons on the screen, and I tried to send you guys a picture, but it didn't go through. So it's called CarPlay, I think, and I think he can control it with his phone, Bluetooth. My iPad darkens out every now and then. So so he sent me some pictures and stuff of it. Really kind of neat, and it wasn't very expensive. I think it was $59, $69 or something, or maybe less than $100. I mean, I really don't know what he paid for it, but he got it on Amazon. I went and looked, and there was a bunch of them on Amazon, and they're real cheap. So anybody that has an old car and want to pull the radio and put a new radio in it, you can have a screen, just like have maps on it and everything else. Okay, well, I think that's enough for tonight. Those radios that you have, Carlos, I like them too. I mean, I don't have one, but I sure like them. They're interesting. All right, good night, everybody. KD7QKU.
KD7QKU, thanks for that. Let's pick up Richard again, K7ITX.
Node 64902.
K7ITX, no contact. Let's try Wade, W7ITL in Tacoma. W7ITL, thanks for that. Sounded like a fax machine running in the background. I don't know what that was. There was some type of digital audio came across the 08 machine. Let's try again for Wade, W7ITL.
All right, there we go. I think I got it fixed. All right, I was just telling you guys I can't get my video working now. I had a backup camera that I was using, and I switched back to my high-res one, and it's just showing a black screen. And I've tried to deactivate it a few times, but it won't show any pictures. So I will say this is my 73, and it's been a good net. I'm going to go try to catch some of the aurora out there, and we'll see what I find. All right. Well, that's about all I got. Nice to see you, Carlos, and nice to see you, Ron. I might come visit you later because I think your video is at low res right now. I think your encoder is not detecting the HD video coming from your camera, so we'll try to fix that. All right, that's about all I got. 73, everybody.
W7ITL, we got your 7-3. Let's move on to Covington to N7QO.
N7QO. The repeater's a little slow to drop there. Well, let's see. Just about out of time. Carlos, thanks for the pictures of that FT790. I had a friend in the 70s who had a Drake rig which looked almost identical in size to that, except half as thick. It was a 2-meter unit. I think it was crystal controlled, if I'm not mistaken, but brings back some memories. And he had a phone patch with it, so he would go places and be able to make phone calls from his 2-meter rig. That was kind of cool back in the 70s, rather unique. And Dave evaded the speed trap. Well, you luck out every now and then. Good for you. I guess the hour's upon us. Good night, everyone. KD7ZYM and 7QO.
N7QO, thanks for that. And this is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net On the '08 machine, I'm Dave, KD7ZYM, terminating the net at 9 o'clock on behalf of the Western Washington Amateur Television Society. Again, this is Dave, KD7ZYM. Good evening, all.
Node 39587
And this is WU7N testing. Good night to all.
Good night, everybody. I got the video fixed. I'll see you guys Saturday.
Video and audio together. Great job. Good night, Wade.
Good night, Carlos. I'm thinking that was Grid Tracker he had up. I don't know. Is the band conditions good tonight?
This is the screen from, it's called the QSO map from the logging software that I use now. I switched to the log for OM, and it produces this grid map of all the different places that I've been able to contact. And I was just waiting for a final contact with Delaware to be confirmed to finally get the 50 states. But I really like this new logging software, and so I've been able to kind of get a signal on 20 meters and above to all these places. So that's what's going so far. Back to you.
Well, very cool, Carlos. That's really cool. I use something similar. Let's see if I can get it to work, and I can show you what I use. This is called Grid Tracker. Let's see if I can get the grids to show up, because right now it's just showing my contacts. I was going to mention that your audio sounds like you got that voice changer still on. I don't know if that's an artifact of your audio or if the voice changer's still on, but I just want to let you know that it's on, or something's interfering with your signal there. But yeah, this is what I use. It's not as nice as yours, but I use Grid Tracker with Cloud Log. I host it in a VM. And I can reach it from anywhere in the world, and then it sends out to all my other logging applications like QRZ and what is it, the log of the world. So I'll send it back to you, and yeah, I don't know if you got time to talk for a second.
Where's the audio? Let me go back. I mean, I am using the equipment, but I thought it was not on a voice changer. Let me check. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Yeah. So I am using the little kind of voice dials, but I hope that it's not making any voice change at the moment. So I used to use the M Radio Deluxe before, and I was happy with it. but that thing is getting more and more complicated and kind of does not get much updates. And so this